Sup people, Casual Talk here. Today, I'm going to be talking about how healthcare in America comes at a high, expensive cost today. For any one of you who understands, you can relate to this, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I'm going back to making some of my videos like this for a change. Not go back, but like go back to this to not really show my facial expressions, but pretty much so people could understand and listen to everything that I gotta say. Okay? Like the term, don't pay attention. Sometimes don't pay attention to the messenger or how they look. Pay attention to the message. But I'll save that for another topic or another time. Anywho, in America, health insurance or healthcare is not cheap. It's very expensive. And if some doctors or surgeons that owns private practices, if your insurance is not paying at a full coverage, they'll find a way to bill you. They will find a way to bill you. In many cases, if you don't give them that money, the money will go to a collection agency, and pretty much it will just get sold into collections. And that could further ruin your credit. Isn't that messed up? Because it could be to a point in the future where they may go hard enough to go after people as like vultures, to pay for their medical expenses, their medical bills, their surgeries, the things that parts of the surgery or coverages that was not covered by your insurance, or if your insurance did not cover at all. God forbid if they go after people's taxes. You may owe $3,000 to $5,000 in medical expenses. It gets sold to collections. The collection agency can't even get a hold of you. 10, 20 years down the line, which I'm praying to God that this never happens. They may take from your taxes, or they may start deducting from your paychecks. Oh yeah, that's how far they could go. If they could be able to do it if the government or somebody in the government sells your information, because now today, our own information is being sold. Our own information could be sold or is being sold. Like, you could find your information probably on white pages or any online platform that you could look up somebody's information. You could look up their phone number, their email address, and where they currently live, or where they've lived before, their birthday, their age. Yeah. All this is accessible online, and people should really talk about this. Instead of talking about the garbage nonsense about, the trash that's happening in America with celebrities, the news media trying to distract people, people should really think about things like this. Like, okay, somebody may have my information. I may not have full control over it, but I have full control over freezing my credit score. Because people may think that, my credit don't mean nothing. Yes, your credit means a lot. If a thief could have access to your credit, your TransUnion, Equifax, Experian, they pretty much have access to your bank account information and your social security, and that could be detrimental to your identity. It could be much harder for you to even get by, to even apply for a loan, because emergencies could happen. That's why I said everybody is vulnerable to being house poor, or losing their home, or being homeless. Anybody is accessible to being in that position. Nobody is unstoppable. Nobody's unstoppable. Nobody. Nobody is a god. Nobody's indestructible. Nobody's the Terminator. Nobody's no robot. Nobody is not going to live forever. Nobody can't live forever. That's one thing I don't agree. There's a Netflix show on a man who is trying to live forever, taking all these vitamins and these unknown pills, unknown substances, and you don't know what's going in your body. And it may not affect you now, but in the future, it could affect you. This is why people should not be ignorant from doing their research. Just because something says something or a doctor says one thing, that does not mean, oh, because it's the doctor knows what he's talking about in most cases because of his degree, because of his title, the way he looks. He knows what he's talking about. In most cases, there's a lot of doctors out there, not most, but many cases, there's a lot of doctors out there that are crooks. There are a lot of doctors out there who are thieves, okay? Doctors got to make a living too. But there's some doctors in private practices that does some sketchy things. Just keeping it real. There's some doctors in private practices that does some sketchy things. They may do extra tests to bill your insurance even more to see what they could get out of you to make their money and to make extra costs. They want to make extra money. I used to work at an eye clinic, and this was a private practice, because the reason why I'm saying private practice for those that does not know what a private practice is basically means that it's individually owned by the one who is in charge. Usually it's the doctor that's normally in charge of the private practices. The public practices are normally hospitals. It could be government owned or owned by the CEO or the ones who is on top of the branches of the hospitals, because the healthcare industry is like a business. Health is wealth. It's an old saying, but it's true. Health is wealth. These days in America, 2025, the 21st century, you cannot afford to get sick out here. And I'm pretty sure there's other countries where you have to pay, many cases out of pocket, if you don't have full health coverage. The rules may be different, but in America, if you want full health coverage, you got to be poor. And you have to call around, because now these days, there's some businesses and some private practices that does not accept Medicaid, or they can't take Medicaid. Or maybe they say that they can't take Medicaid because they want the top quality insurances that they could get paid quicker, because some insurances, it takes time to process for the doctors to get paid. And I noticed, because I used to work for an eye doctor. I used to work in a private eye doctor clinic. I used to work in a private healthcare setting. And this was under an eye doctor. He told me this stuff. Whenever insurances are being built, this is how he made his money. So pretty much doctors or nurse, any type of doctor, this is how they get paid. They either get paid by the owner of the practice, or they pay themselves. They're their own boss. They build the insurances. And the insurances pays them depending on the procedure or the cases that they perform and what's being billed for the patient. They may bill $500, a $500 case or procedure that was done for the patient. It could be a regular checkup. It could be a cosmetic surgery. It could be anything. That $500 could go is going to go in the doctor's pocket or the boss. It goes to the doctor's pocket, or the one who's billing the insurance. Whoever the money is going to, it's going to go to their pockets, but they're not going to get it in a week. It depends, because it varies. Each insurance has a different way of billing. They have a different billing period. And this is also the reason why there's many doctors and private practices, even medical clinics like trying to find a word for it. Even medical clinics like Express Care, okay? Like Express Medical Clinics. Even Express Medical Clinics, right? They may ask, what insurance do you have? This is common sense. See, people don't think about this until it hurts them financially. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because I've been billed so many occasions. You don't know how frustrating it is because you never know what you could get. You have to be blessed enough to have an honest doctor or a nurse or a receptionist to tell you, hey, your insurance is not going to fully be covered here. This place is going to cover your insurance. But there's some places that actually lies. And they tell you, oh, yeah, we accept your insurance. We accept your insurance. Or they might be like, oh, there's a co-payment, though. Some cases they're lying. Some cases they're not. I used to work for a private practice. This is the game. It's a hustle. The healthcare is like a business. It's a business. This is why you have nurse practitioners, physicians, dentists, psychologists. They're opening their own business practices. Even physical therapists, doctors and physical therapists can have their own business practice. How are they going to pay their workers? They pay their workers based off the amount of money they get from the insurance companies. And if they're not making a lot of money, what money are they going to pay to their workers? That's why some practices, depending on the state, depending on the area, some states it varies on what insurances has the okay and what some insurances does not have the okay. I mean, one of the most known insurances from what I remember when I was in Brooklyn, New York, was Health First. Health First was one of the most known insurances. There's Health First, a regular, which is under Medicaid. There's the co-payment Health First, which is Health First Silver, Health First Gold. There's United Healthcare, Fidelis, Sigma. There's so many health insurances. Why is there so many health insurances? But when it comes down to straight Medicaid, from what I've noticed, I heard that there's some facilities, there's some private practices that does not accept, all the time, does not accept straight Medicaid. Probably there's some law down here that prevents certain establishments from getting paid by straight Medicaid. They probably went through fraud. They probably had a hard time from straight Medicaid. And also from what I've learned working under a private health practice, under an eye doctor, specifically an optometrist, okay? I've learned that some insurances is not going to approve your practice. Some insurances you can't run game on. You can't get paid from. Man, people are crazy out here. I gotta watch where I'm going with. Look, I'm just gonna keep it real. When it comes down to driving, there's a lot of people that does not know how to drive. People think that, oh, this state has bad drivers. This state got the worst drivers. No, it is everywhere. Everywhere that has a lot of traffic, guaranteed, most cases, you're going to have bad drivers. Wherever there's a lot of traffic, you're going to have bad drivers. Why do you think when it comes down to certain states with the most drivers, the more likely a car accident is going to occur? Because the probability has increased. But the less the population, the less the drivers on the road, the more cheaper your insurance premium is going to be. Because nobody is at much of a risk to get into a car accident. I'm going to go back to what I was saying about health insurance or healthcare. Healthcare is a business. It's a hustle. This is why you see cases like people saying things like, oh, the guy that shot the United Healthcare CEO, I'm pretty sure some of you know who I'm talking about. There was a case recently of a young guy who went in at a United Healthcare facility or office or establishment, and I think he planned it. He met the United Healthcare CEO, the current United Healthcare CEO, and he shot him to death. I think he shot him in the head. And I think this guy's in prison or he's in jail right now. One or the other. The guy obviously got caught. He's in prison or he's jailed in right now. And there's people who are divided about this. A lot of people in America are calling him a hero. And a lot of people in America are calling him a murderer, which obviously he's a murderer. He's a murderer. Regardless of how greedy somebody is, does not give you the right to kill them. I'm going to cover a video about that in the future. Other than that, the healthcare in America is like a business. I mean, healthcare in general, everywhere you go is a business. You can't go to a doctor for free. They're going to need money. How else is a doctor or a nurse going to get paid? The government don't pay them. The government doesn't pay them. The government may support them in some ways, but who is supporting the pockets or the salary of healthcare workers? Your CNAs, the doctors, physicians, bedside nurses. Certain positions, they're getting paid by health insurance. In most cases, I'm an environmental services cleaner. My paycheck comes from the hospital. And I'm pretty sure the hospital funds, they're being funded by the government and the health insurances. And that's how they're able to pay me. Okay? That's how they're able to pay me. All I'm saying at the end of the day, guys, health is wealth. Your health is wealth. Just because you think that, oh, I'm skinny, I'm fine, that does not mean most of the time you're not healthy. When you work out, you're in shape. It benefits your heart. It benefits your body. You have more energy, especially if you got enough sleep and you eat right. That all goes together. Sleep, eating right, and working out, exercising, going on a jog, running, go on the treadmill, lifting weights. Whatever your weight goal is, whatever the body type you want to go for, that's your business. But I'm just saying and keeping it real. If a lot of people in America cannot afford to get sick. We're already in a crisis where so many people are irresponsible with their money, and there's people that are just trying to make it. And they have no choice but to cut back even more because their mortgage has increased or their rent has increased or they just lost their jobs. Things can happen, God forbid. I don't wish bad on nobody, but this is why people should be more wiser or much more wiser with how they spend their money. You need to be much more wiser with how you take care of yourself. If healthcare is like a business, especially for people that has a permanent STD, don't you think it's very smart to take care of yourself and just be extra careful? Especially if you don't have the money to pay out of pocket for your medications. Because there are some cases where if you don't have health insurance or your health insurance does not fully cover your medication, you may have to come out of pocket. And if you don't have a discount, which in many cases, thank God, pharmacies today like Walgreens, CVS, or Walmart, some pharmacy establishments, they may offer you a discount plan or a discount card to take a huge percentage off of your medication so you can save a lot of money in your pocket. Some cases, if they don't have that, you got to pay for the full package. You got to pay for the full medication. It may be from $50 to maybe $200 to $300, or maybe $1,000 a month on medication. There's people that got diabetes, high blood pressure, and they gotta pay for these medications, especially if they don't got insurance, or they can't afford to get insurance. So in some cases, I can understand why people just rather stay dirt poor in order to have some type of security. But even then, it can be detrimental to your life. There's a pros and cons to everything. Either you stay poor to get the full help, and you suffer at the exact same time, depending on the area that you live in. You got to go through the consequences of that. Or if you're in good shape, you got to make your money, get the health insurance through your job, praying that it's through a union and you get full coverage. You do your due diligence, you do your research, see what place or hospital or facility accepts your insurance. Do your research to double check, because there's some people that lies about that, and take it from there. But I'm just gonna keep it real. In this generation today, 21st century, 2025, going forward, I mean, a lot of people cannot afford in America to get sick, because you could miss your paycheck, you could miss time off from work, which could further detriment you to be homeless. Because if you're living paycheck to paycheck and you're on the verge of losing your place, and God forbid if something bad happens to your health, you're hospitalized for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and you don't got nothing saved in your savings account for emergencies, you lose that money for 2 to 3 weeks. You could end up homeless. Go for a career, guys. Go for a union that has good health coverage. If you're in a position where you don't got access to that, work on your body, work on your health, save your money, save your time, save your pockets, get your vitamin D, take your vitamins, see what you're taking into your body, and take care of yourself. Or else your pockets, your money is going to take care of your health for you. And that is going to hurt you in the long run. Anything can happen in the future, guys, from all the things that I've said in this video. Going to another country to escape health insurance costs, it's not going to make your problems disappear. Sometimes your problems may follow you, because every country has their own problems. A lot of people cannot afford to leave the country. You cannot expect that to happen, just being realistic. Anyways, guys, like I said, health is wealth. Do your research, use your brain, be open-minded, and be smart about your choices and decisions. Casual Talk here. Peace out. Let me know what you think.